We're back for another edition of the Twin Cities Real Estate Pros podcast. Thank you for joining us. My name is Ron Johnson, licensed real estate agent with RE/MAX Advantage Plus, joined as always by the worldwide leader of the Imperial Home Team, David Nelson, also licensed real estate agent with RE/MAX Advantage Plus. I don't know why I think that's funny, but I just think it's funny. But it's true. That's the thing, though. You can be funny or you can be true. So it's true. You are the worldwide leader of the Imperial Home Team.
Up here.
There you go. If only in your own mind. So thanks for joining us. If you've never joined us on the show before, thanks for coming in this time. We are live on Facebook over there and over there. We are also on SoundCloud for the audio version. And then we also have a video version on YouTube at imperialhometeam.tv. All of those things can be found on our website, TwinCitiesRealEstatePros.com. What we like to do is talk about the local real estate market. We are in our office here in Lakeville, but really try to expand the conversation anywhere throughout the Twin Cities and try to add some value. A lot of times we like to have some guests. Today we are a guest-free show. If you were in the radio business, we call it a talker. So now we're just going to talk. So there you go. So it's a talker today, but we've got a lot of good things to talk about as we kind of hit the middle part of the summer. We're going to talk about how things are going on in the market. We can touch on a variety of other things like the process of buying a home, which is part of what we like to do is the education piece. And today we're going to touch on some of the aspects of buying a home. And then I know you hosted a seminar over the weekend. We can talk about that, maybe a recap there. But first, we'd like to also talk about pre-listings and some listings we have going on. So I know you've always got some things going on, particularly in the Lakeville area.
Yeah, I got some things brewing in the witch pot here. Two houses, again, they're coming on in the Woodhill development. They're both our twin homes. They're the exact same floor plan. One has a little more upgrades than the other. The other one has a better lot. One of them is at 18089 Kindred Circle, 4 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms. There's a main level true living, and that's going to be priced at about $265-ish. And that should be coming on the market here, I guess, in the next couple of weeks. I know the homeowner is hoping for an October closing because they're building a house. And as you and I know, when you're building a house, there really isn't a set date because weather or whatever changes. So it's kind of an arbitrary October date. And the other one is at 18056 Kindred Court. Again, that's a 4-bedroom, 4-bathroom, main level living, of course. This one backs up to the wetlands, so a lot of wildlife, deer, turkeys, all that fun stuff. And we're looking at that one at $255. Again, same floor plan, just not as many updates, so we're pricing it accordingly. And that should be on, I think we're probably taking pictures the end of next week or this week even, so that'll be coming on quite soon. Just took photos of a property yesterday in Lakeville, 21776 Vernon Avenue. It's out in the Credit River Township, backs up to Heritage Links Golf Course. That's coming in at $290, 2.5 acres, just a shade under 2,000 square feet, 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. The basement's partially finished, so you could add another probably 400 feet of equity. And then lastly, I've got one that I can't even tell you the address because it's top secret. It's the only way to know it is to contact me. Guess what? 4 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms. This is going to be a higher end home, priced around $700,000. It's gorgeous, beautiful interior, high end upgrades. It's got a pool with a water feature, concrete patio. It's loaded to the nines. So this one again, $600,000. And we don't know, or $700,000. We don't know when that's coming on the market yet. The sellers are kind of dragging their feet. But if you want to contact me directly about any of these properties, David at ImperialHomeTeam.com. Call or text me 612-986-4670, as well as go to our Zillow.com site. If you type in the Imperial Home Team, you'll see all of our pre-list properties. And lastly, you can check them out on our podcast website, TwinCitiesRealEstatePros.com.
You ran me a story here on the new construction. I just had a new construction, brand new, custom built, close it was Tuesday. It was supposed to close in June, and the buyer had a house to sell, sold his house based on when the construction was promised. Right, you say that in quotes. And the listing agent who I had worked with before on another new construction project, that case it was a completed new construction, so it was a little easier there. But he felt really confident about the completion date. Talked to his builder. It was a local, smaller builder, so they're not overwhelmed with projects.
Sure.
But for some reason or another, and he felt really strong and really confident about it. And then we ended up negotiating a deal on the sale of their house based on the hope that this new
closing date.
The closing date. He even gave us a little buffer.
Okay.
Because they didn't need financially, they were fine. They could buy the house. They could sell their house without buying, and vice versa. What happened was we got a call like a week or so prior to when we were supposed to close, and the listing agent said, "Hey, I've worked with these guys a lot. They've always been great. I don't know what happened. We're backed up by 3 weeks."
Wow.
I think some of that might have to do with it's in St. Louis Park, and there's something with maybe the city coming through and doing a variety of inspections and things like that. But also the builder apparently had some backup in distribution on some of the materials.
So it trickled down.
It trickled down.
Yep.
But to the credit of the builder, what they offered to do, because my buyer didn't have anywhere to go, so they actually gave him a per diem for, it was like 17 days or something like that to go find temporary housing. So a case where two agents work together well.
What a novel idea.
Each go to your clients and find solutions that work and everything. The house is beautiful. It's now closed, and but no, to your point, you can't plan your life around when your completed new construction is going to be done, because you really truly never know.
Right, and it could be even early.
Yep.
There's been times too. I've had people that were supposed to close maybe in the fall, or in the spring. Well, this last winter was so mild that the builder's like, "Yeah, we're going to be done a month early," because they factored in it's going to snow, it's going to blizzard. You can't do this during this time. We hardly had any snow, so they were kind of scrambling all of a sudden, like, "Oh crap, we got to move." In a month sooner than expected, so that everything got escalated. Same breath, you expect a nice spring closing or a fall closing. It rains, it snows, who knows what. So yeah, building a home, they put an arbitrary date down there, but again, it's kind of a liquid date.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Just don't know. Hopefully it's at the exact same date, but
yeah, and like I said, to the credit of the builder and the listing agent, we were able to work together and get something that didn't put, because that would have been thousands of dollars really out of my client's pocket, because you had to find temporary housing, not to mention what to do with all your stuff. So
double moves are nobody likes a double move.
No.
If you can alleviate that,
right,
that's pretty awesome.
So there you go. People who are on different sides working together. That's crazy.
Yeah,
but it ended up working out.
I just got one. I just listed a property last week, so I want to kind of promote that as well. It's a 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom home in Prior Lake. Excuse me, no, 4-bedroom now. It's 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom home.
You only do 4 bedrooms.
I forget. Yeah, it's 4 bedrooms, but only 3 bathrooms. In Prior Lake, it's a detached luxury townhouse. It was their former model home. So it's got beautiful maple floors. It's got granite, solar tubes. It's pimped out to the max. Beautiful home. Only at $369. So we hit the market on Thursday. We've had numerous showings, potentially getting 2 offers today or tomorrow. But again, if it's not in writing, it doesn't exist in my mind.
Right, exactly.
So if you're looking for a nice detached luxury townhouse, and it's in the wilds in Prior Lake, check it out, 2637 Wilds Lane, Prior Lake, or contact me too.
And available as we sit here today, Tuesday, what's today, the 26th?
Something.
Yeah, July 26th. Yeah, it's July sometime. Yeah, I've got one I want to talk about too that we put on the market end of 2 weeks ago, so it's been on about 11 or 12 days, but it's 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, twin home in Chanhassen. It does have an association, so they take care of your snow and lawn care. There's also, they actually cover your exterior insurance as a part of the HOA fee. It's listed at $184.9. HOA fee is $198 a month.
That's pretty cheap.
Yeah, especially for what you get. Because as you know, with twin homes, those kind of, sometimes they act like a duck, look like a duck, but who knows what they are as far as with exterior insurance. Is it a townhome, or is it a single family home, or is it, it's basically a combination of both.
Right.
But with the HOA, you never know what
they can determine what they want it to be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So, but yeah, and also to get in that school district, the Eastern Carver County School District in the Chanhassen area, District 112, a really inexpensive price. Is one of the few. The neighborhood was built between 1980 and 1985. The majority of those homes are 2 bedrooms.
Okay.
So it's one of the few 3 bedrooms that have priced that are available there. So that came on the market, like I said, about 12 days ago. I've had 3 second showings on it, so it's been extremely popular. I had an agent email me yesterday, said, "Hey, we've got an offer coming in." I got ready to go to bed last night, and I didn't see the offer, so I shot her an email, said, "Hey, didn't see the offer," and she emailed me this morning and said, "Sorry, we have problems with the electronic signatures. It should be coming today," so I still haven't gotten it. But as we sit here at the moment, it's still available, but it's been really popular because they have really inexpensive price to get into that area. It's about 1,600 square feet, too. So,
and kind of touching base on, too, a lot of associations, actually a lot of townhouses, they have like the 2 bedrooms, and they also have the kind of the higher end 3 bedrooms.
Yep.
And looking towards like a resale value, if you get a 2-bedroom house, you're kind of limiting yourself it's amazing when you add that extra bedroom, you could have, husband, wife, single person, and maybe a kid. Then you also have an office or a spare bedroom.
Yep.
So that third bedroom is a huge resale value. And particularly, a lot of associations don't have that third bedroom. They only have a lot more 2 bedrooms. So yours is kind of a gem that, for now it's a great price, and it should just be constantly increasing over the years.
And on top of that, it's 3 bedrooms on the same level too.
Oh, even better.
Yeah, that's if you've got the master and 2 kids or 1 kid or whatever, and parents sometimes like to be on the same level with their kids. So yeah, it's a 3 bedroom. And I forgot to mention that, so I'm glad you brought that up. 3 bedrooms.
You're welcome.
On 1 level. So thank you, David. That's why you're the worldwide leader.
That's right. And I read minds.
Yeah, a couple other things that I've got cooking. It's a 3 bedroom, 2 bath house in Burnsville. It's a split level. The seller bought his house, and we're just not ready to list yet. I'm doing some work on that house to get it ready to list. We should have that on beginning of August, which is next week. So hopefully that comes on in the next, say, week to week and a half or so. So 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, split level in Burnsville, right around, say, $250. We haven't set the exact price yet. I'm doing a bunch of work and then figuring out where we go from there. So that should be coming on next week and a half or so. I've got one where I'm meeting with a friend of mine on Thursday. He's got a townhouse in Plymouth, 2 bedroom, 1 bath townhouse in the Wayzata School District. So that'll come on probably in the 160-ish range. I'm meeting with him on Thursday, so I can't give the address yet because we don't have paperwork. But if he doesn't give me that deal, then he's not my friend anymore. So we'll cut out. We'll do that. Yeah. So that's coming up.
Are you threatening him on social media?
I think he's working or doing something else, so maybe he's not watching. But he
should be watching.
Now he'll find out. And then another one that I'm still working on. There was some hail. We were ready to list like 2 weeks ago. Then it got hail damage.
Oh yeah.
In Northeast Minneapolis, it's a 2 bedroom, 2 bath in Northeast Minneapolis. You can do a 3rd bedroom downstairs with an egress window. The room is there. There's a closet. There's enough space on the outside. That was one of the conversations we were having back and forth. Is it worth spending the money to do the egress window or not? And you kind of looking at the area, there's a ton of 2 bedrooms around there.
Okay.
But not all of them have the opportunity to add the 3 bedrooms. So they decided they'd rather not spend the money and see what they can get, and the value will be there. So that'll come on around 160 to 170, and I think that's all the ones that we had cooking. I had one that I thought was going to come on. It was a friend of mine owns a condo that he had rented out. His tenant gave him the notice that they were going to move out, and so he called me and said, "Hey, I want to get rid of this thing. This guy's moving out. Let's get ready to go." And I said, "Okay." And then I called him last week, and because the guy was supposed to move out, I think the end of August. So I was like, "Hey, let's get the process started." He was like, the guy was going to move out because he was going to move out of state with his girlfriend. His girlfriend now decided to move to Minnesota. So he asked my friend if they could stay, and he said sure, because he's making a ton of money on it as a rental.
He should have consulted with you first.
He should have consulted with me first, but he's making too much money for it to make sense. So anyway, that one's not coming on. So I lied about the condo in Chaska that I have on. So that's why we don't give addresses, right? Because it's never official.
Never, and until it's signed. That's what Judge Judy said. If it's not in writing, it doesn't exist.
Right. So those are the things that we've got coming up in the market. And there's always buyer needs out there. So if you've got a house, we most likely have a buyer for it, especially if it's anything under, what would you say, 350 or below. Easily, there's a buyer out there that one of us or somebody on our team can come through, and really in any area. Some of those upper brackets, we've got buyers sitting there too. So
yeah, because I think on average every month, either 150 to 200 new leads are coming through our website, just our website alone, looking to buy houses, and that's on top of the ones the last month, the other month, and the ones that haven't signed in. So there's definitely still buyer needs, still a seller's market.
And it'd be interesting to see as we kind of wrap down the summer, starting to head into school season, all those people who didn't find that house that they were looking for in May and June, and they're not ready, and the same thing with the people who put their house on the market, who hope to get rid of it before school started. So kind of an interesting little window, I think, that we're going to run into here.
Yeah, it's at this time of year, it's kind of the lull. Because let's say you find a house exactly today and you write an offer on it, the chances of it closing before school actually starts
gets tight.
It gets tight, and like we talked about this before, a lot of families like to move into their home at least weeks, if not a month, before school starts, so they can so the kids can get acclimated to the neighborhood, the kids, how to get to school, et cetera, et cetera. So historically this time of year it's kind of quieter just because of the school starting, 4th of July happened, God forbid Labor Day is coming up. So there's just that kind of dead period, but still homes are coming on the market and still got buyer needs.
Buyers out there because again, rates are so low. There's still buyers, and there just weren't enough houses for all those buyers out there to get in May and June and into July. So still a really good time to get out there and start looking. Now, one of the things, speaking of buyers, you had a home buyer seminar over the weekend here in Lakeville. We gave away a 40-inch HD TV.
Sure did.
All right.
To the big winners, Karen and Tony Mack of Lakeville. They were the lucky winners of the 40-inch HD LED smart TV.
And all they had to do was show up and deal with you for like an hour.
It wasn't even an hour.
Okay. Oh, there you go.
I mean, it was actually probably about 30 to 35 minutes.
Okay, so that's like less than a minute per inch of TV.
If we can market that, we could actually market that. Yeah, it was
It's like price per square foot.
There you go.
Yeah.
Price per square inch.
Exactly.
We had, of course, half hour before the seminar was going to start. It just downpoured rain in Lakeville. So it was a horrible day for the seminar. There was actually a farmer's market in the same parking lot as the Lakeville Arts Center, which of course shut down because of the lovely rain. But the nice thing is we had a good turnout, and it's a free seminar, open to anybody. You don't have to be a first-time home buyer. You don't have to be a returning home buyer. You don't have to live in Lakeville. You can, even if you're not even buying a home, it's a great opportunity to learn. We go through the 7 steps of buying a house. All the way from step 1, talking to a lender, to step 7 is closing on the property. We also have a lender. This time it was Scott Roiger of Envoy Mortgage. He was there. He answered some awesome questions from the guests, and he talks about the importance of why you should talk to a lender and kind of the pre-approval process and breaking down what is required to get pre-approved. So again, it's a free class. We offer it every month. We're going to take August off only because of school starting. Football season kind of for high schools, so it's kind of a busy time. But our next seminar is probably going to be the second Saturday in September. So, and we'll notify people for sure. But second Saturday in September, and yes, another TV given away.
Perfect. And I think obviously you deal with people at all sides of the spectrum when it comes to buying a home, but I think everybody still could use, unless you're somebody who's just buying houses every 2 years because you're moving around for your job or something like that. But even if you mentioned a first-time home buyer, or if you bought a house even just like 3 years ago or 4 years ago, the process is a lot different. The market's a lot different. If you bought a house 8 years ago, things are a lot different than where they are. So even if it's just a refresher, or maybe the situation, you're buying a different type of home, or you're going from a condo to a single family house,
or vice versa.
Downsizing. So any piece of education that you can get, again, whether we hope it's from us, but whether it's from us or another agent or your lender or whoever, just understanding what the heck you're doing while you're signing all those papers, is so important.
And the nice thing too is when you're actually in a seminar, it's not so much we sit you down and we lecture at you. It's kind of an open forum. We have we're not shooting at the hip. We do have a plan we go through, but a lot of the people are asking Scott questions, everything from refinancing to veterans loan. So again, the people that ask questions about the veteran loans, they had bought numerous homes, but they hadn't bought a home in 7 years.
Sure.
So of course things change. 7 years ago, you think of all the crackpot, loans that were out there. People expect those are still here. Well, they're not. So again, these classes are amazing because it puts you in a position to be a stronger buyer. So when you do go out and decide to buy a house, you're not scrambling. You're not trying to learn it then. You've actually learned it now. So when you're set up to be successful, get the best price, and really know what the whole process is with buying a house.
Right, and then hopefully too, once you buy that house, you keep the house or keep it well maintained, or be able to hang on your mortgage. Because if you don't understand your mortgage when you're signing the papers, sure, you can get there and you're in there a year and then you're in trouble, right? So it's really important to understand what's going to happen in your inspection or what your appraisal means. And so we want to help you buy that house, but also make sure you're able to stay in that house and are happy when you're there. You're not house broke, or you're not buyer's regret and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you think you're buying a house that's your dream home, and all of a sudden it's a money pit. So that's kind of part of what we do as agents. Buyers, we work for buyers for free. So free seminar, free TV, we work for free. It's for free.
The show is free.
The show is free. Who says things aren't free? So you're getting free representation, but again, too, I hate to say, but not every agent or team is created equal. And part of our job as real estate agents is to not only to find you that house, that's the fun part, but it's to take you from point A to point B, guide you along the way, make sure you have a successful closing, make sure we set you up with the right tools, such as a qualified lender that isn't just going to get you hooked up on a loan and then fall off the face of the earth. We have great inspectors. It's our job to make you as successful and take away as much stress as possible when buying a house.
Right. And then what happens when the inspection happens, what the inspection period is about, what the appraisal means, what is needed from you, the buyer, throughout the process. What our role, 'cause I think sometimes there's some cloudiness, right? What's our role?
Right.
What's the lender's role? What's the title company's role? And how we all kind of fit together and work together and all those kind of things.
And then, what are just the basics, like closing costs? What are fees? What are, it's crazy. I've worked with clients that have bought numerous houses throughout the years, but, they'll go online and you can Google anything, and I used to work in healthcare, and the worst thing ever was WebMD. Yeah. You have a headache, you've got everything from you're pregnant to you have cancer.
Right.
And same thing, now people look online, they don't really know, each state is different, each lender is different. So our job is to not throw them to the wolves, our clients to the wolves, is to give them the information before they even have questions. And make it smooth, make it successful.
Yeah, don't confuse a medical degree for a Google search.
Yeah, I know. Because I come in and someone said, well, I was looking on WebMD and they recommended this. I'm like, that's great.
Right.
But this is what the real world is, So talk to people that are professionals. We're local experts. We're local agents. We live and die in this area. And again, we have trusted vendors that we put our faith in. If I'm going to buy a house, I'm going to use the people I recommend. So why not trust them?
That's kind of like, although our pre-lists are great on Zillow, but
right.
It's real estate agents cringe a little bit, right, when somebody says, "Oh, I saw the value of my house," or "I saw the value of this house I'm going to make an offer on." If it's your house, right, the value is $30,000 more, and if it's a house you want to buy, it was $30,000 less
easily
because they saw it on the internet, which is kind of, I guess, the WebMD.
and it's the same. Yeah, it kind of goes back to is if you look further into details. I had a listing appointment on Friday, and the guy said, actually, my Zestimate says it's actually worth more than what you're recommending. And I'm like, well, and I pulled up the data the WebMD Zillow had.
Then it was wrong.
Yeah, it was completely wrong. It had his square footage was completely off kiltered, and it was comparing his home to single family homes. He had a townhouse, and I was like, well, this is why Zillow actually. If you go in Zillow's back office and look, if you type in Zestimate, they'll tell you
don't trust us.
Don't trust us. Yeah. They blatantly say to get a true value, talk to your real estate agent.
Right.
This is just they call it a starting point, and that's what it is. It's a talking point,
and a part of a tool, right? Yeah, it's just like tax assessed values too. There are all sorts of different numbers, but we know what the market is doing today,
correct?
Or within the last several weeks and things like that. So.
And we actually go in the house, look it over. Yeah. Same thing that you said. The assessed price. Usually that's assessed a year in advance before you actually get a number.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? Market changes in a year, so your tax value isn't really the true value of your home. If you're a homeowner, you want a low tax value, but then when you sell, you want a higher price.
Yeah, and it's just a quick Zillow story, then we'll get back to talking about other things. But I got a call this weekend from the son of one of my sellers and said, hey, I was looking on Zillow, and there's this house that's just like ours that's priced way lower than where we are. That's really going to kill us. So I said, okay, what's the address? He gave me the address. I didn't see it listed anywhere on the MLS. It was not in the comps that I prepared or any of this stuff. So I'm like, did I miss this? And I looked it up. I saw it on Zillow. And it was actually listed by an agent with our brokerage. Who I didn't know him, but I called him and I said, hey, what's up with 123 whatever? Yeah. It's on Zillow and I don't see it anywhere else. He was like, he keeps getting calls about it. He sold the house 3 years ago, but it's still showing up as a active listing on Zillow. So anyway, that mean I didn't mess up, so I was happy about that.
Oh, we knew that.
He was right. It was basically the same house, priced way lower than where we were. But it wasn't a true comp as we call it because it actually sold 3 years ago. But he said, for whatever reason, people keep calling him about this way underpriced house because they want to buy it.
Yeah,
that he sold 3 years ago, and he said for whatever reason there's some glitch where it keeps coming back up as an active listing.
And that's what Zillow does, is they
Yeah.
have their little bots that go out and they just gather information.
Mm-hmm.
There's homes on for sale on Zillow that are for sale, but like I said, they've been sold.
Yeah.
The data isn't accurate. Again, Zillow is a great tool. It's a great starting point. But if you're really true searching for homes, contact a real estate agent. More specifically, us.
There you go. That'll be work. And yeah, I know we're going to talk about your home buyer seminar, and also you mentioned 7 steps of home buying,
Yeah.
which you put together great videos. They're on YouTube, on our YouTube channel at ImperialHomeTeam.tv, where you break it down 1 through 7. First one was talk to a lender, which you already kind of talked about that.
And we've had lenders on numerous
had lenders
times.
on. So we were going to talk about the 3rd step today, right? Or we're going to talk about the 2nd?
Well, the second step, we'll dabble.
Okay.
It's hiring an agent.
Okay.
And again, kind of alluded to it. We work for you for free. Most, why wouldn't you want representation for free? So the biggest thing is when you're looking at real estate agents, you want to make sure that they're going to protect you and not them, not like the other side. So if you go to a builder, for example, the agent sitting in the builder's office is representing the builder. As much as you feel they're going to be representing you, they will if you want them to. But at the end of the day, they're representing the builder. So for us, is like, why wouldn't you want someone that's going to protect you and your investment? So look, you're with your, helping your clients buy a new construction. Your best interest is as the buyer, not the builder. So, when you're looking for homes, you want a real estate agent. You want someone that's going to, pare down what you're looking for to not waste your time, which just kind of goes into the next step of home searching. And also, you're going to want someone that knows what's going on. And yes, there's part-time agents out there, and they could probably do a pretty good job. But you want someone that's, I believe, it's a full-time agent, because it's our job. If we don't sell a house, we don't get paid. Family starves, which is a bad thing.
Yep.
So, hiring an agent is really important, and that should be, you talk to a lender, and you should hire a real estate agent right away, mainly because we're going to get you to the point where you're going to be successful. You're going to look at homes that actually meet your criteria, and we're not going to waste your time. And when it gets into, let's say, multiple offer situations, you're going to be a stronger buyer. You're coming in, and you could potentially outbid or outperform the other offers.
Yeah, and you bring up a part-time agent. I think, and that's fine. If like some people may be
heck
really
yeah.
good, and
I
you
was
have a
one of them at one
relationship
point.
and all those kind of things. But like, say if you're whatever you do, say you're a golfer, right? You're going to be a better golfer even if you're just a weekend hack. If you're playing every weekend, right, versus just playing one weekend a month because of repetition, right? So, even like we're going to close however many deals. But then, how many actual situations are you in? Way more than that, right? Because if as a full-time agent, you see all sorts of different situations. You're never going to see every single situation. You're going to run into something like, man, I've never seen that before. But
you've been in business for 20 years. All of a sudden, something.
Yep.
Whoa, where did this come from?
But as a full-time agent, you're doing a number of transactions. You're also doing a number of transactions that don't work out, right? Because you submit an offer, somebody else gets it, and all those kind of things fall apart. So you're seeing all sorts of different scenarios that then your buyer can lean on that experience in those situations where if you're a part-time agent, maybe you're not seeing as many transactions and situations, so you don't have that knowledge base and experience and things like that.
And someone could be, I was in a listing appointment, and the seller brought up, I've really been a full-time agent for 3 years, and he's like, well, I've interviewed somebody else, and they've been in the business for 20. And I was like, great, but if you're in the business for 20 years and you do one deal a year, you've done 20 deals.
Yep.
So again, longevity is okay, but you kind of want to, when you're looking for an agent, ask about how many transactions have they closed in the last year, or I think that is more of a true tell of how if they're actually productive. If someone says I've done one deal in the last 2 years, but I've been in the business for 20,
Right.
They probably don't know the market. You may end up overpaying for a house, or you may underbid and lose it. So.
Yeah, and like you, I've been licensed, I guess, 3 years, selling full time for about 2.5 years. But I got to count, but I'll have done, I think, get to 50 transactions in that short period of time, like in August at some point.
Yeah.
So, like you said, it's a concentrated number of transactions recently.
Right.
And again, not to take away from people who've been doing it forever, because there's some value to that as
Oh,
well.
heck yeah. Yep.
But it's good to work. You can offset that, I guess, is kind of the point. If you've done a lot of transactions recently, because just since I've been in the business, and I guess kind of you as well, Radon has taken on a whole different life than it did just a few years ago. The purchase agreement was 7 pages 2 years ago. Now it's 8 pages. There's a couple different additions to the purchase agreement. There are changes in the language of different contracts.
Yep.
There's you can pay earnest money electronically through trust funds online now. All sorts of different technology has changed. So what you did 20 years ago is great, but it doesn't always apply necessarily to what's happening today, unless there are some great agents, right, who have evolved.
Oh,
so that's
yeah.
when you're great. But you also run in, and that'll probably be us in 20 years too. We're like, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, I hope so.
You just keep doing what you did 20 years ago. But anyway, to your point, I think that is valuable. Is what have you done for me lately, right? If we could.
Was that Janet Jackson?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the number of transactions you've done in the current market, under the current rules, with the current purchase agreement, and are you keeping up on education and training and all that
Exactly.
kind of stuff? Where 25 years ago, that's great, but the market's not 25 years ago.
And I know we're talking about buyers, but even on the flip side of sellers, I think that's even more important. Listing a home today compared to even 5 years ago is way different. 5 years ago, the internet was still kind of, Nowadays, if over 95% of buyers start to home search online. Yep. So if you don't have a good online social media presence, the agent's doing a disservice for the home. The home may sell less, may not sell as quickly. So the experience is good, but we have a lot of agents that still kind of fight the system. They don't know what my face is, or Facebook's face space, and all these things. They don't. You need that in social media, and so. It's constantly evolving. So again, you want an agent that's going to be on top of things and doesn't do everything, but should know what's going on.
Right. Yeah. So I'm not sure how we got down there because you were talking about just being in the business 3 years, which not a bad deal.
No.
Yeah, because you're up on things that are current. So that's step 2 was hiring an agent.
Correct.
And then we're going to get into
step 3, the home search. Yep. And again, too, we do talk about, kind of go back to the home buyer seminar. We do go through all 7 steps. In a more of abbreviated form. So if you feel like, oh my God, I wish I knew the rest of the steps, come to our seminars or ask us, but that'll be in the seminar.
There's videos.
There's you said that too. Videos, ImperialHomeTeam.tv. So the step 3 is a home search, and this is where buyers love. They always want to jump to step 3. Forget getting a pre-approved, forget an agent. They want to go to step 3 because they can look at houses. But you need steps 1 and 2.
It helps.
Yeah, it does help.
Unless you have a pocket full of cash.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
But even then, you just got some work you got to do too. But anyway,
they're still good. So.
Yeah.
So the home search. So part of what we do is we sit down with you before we actually. We may show you 1 or 2 houses, but really our job is to sit you down and whittle down your needs, and I call them your must-haves. So you have 5 must-haves, and it isn't this ambiguous term like one must-have. My kitchen should be updated. I want a nice house and a good yard. Well, that's 1,000 must-haves.
Right.
The more specific your must-haves are, and you have 5 of them, it allows us as real estate agents to narrow down all the homes for sale, to really only show you the homes that you would buy. And we don't want to waste your time. Why would you look at homes that don't meet your needs and you're not going to buy? It's, in that time that we're looking at homes that don't meet your needs, the house that may fit you could be for sale, and could already get an offer on it before we look at it because we're wasting time looking at all these other houses. Mm-hmm. So we do the 5 must-haves, and then once the buyers have those pretty down pat, what they're looking for, we set up our buyers on a home search that has these 5 must-haves. Must-have could be main level living, Chanhassen schools. So once we narrow that down, the buyers are getting homes that fit their needs. But then I tell them, write down as many wants as you have. You want a pool, you want to be close to a park, you want to be close to work. So when you find a house that has your 5 must-haves and all of a sudden has 2, 3, 4, 20 of your wants, well, this is the home. Let's write an offer. But again, too, by making the buyers think of what they're really wanting and what they must have, it gives them a better idea of really what are their goals for looking for a house. They're not just looking for a house, they're looking for a home. What makes up a home? And we're here to help you find that.
Right. And it also, too, positions you against other buyers, right? So
correct.
You can, it's up to you, but it's not going to make you very competitive. You walk into a house and you're like, okay, yeah, this is fine, we need to go home and think about it. because the buyer behind you doesn't have to think because they already have their list.
Correct.
Or however, people are spreadsheet people, whatever you do, and you're like, okay, you start checking boxes on your list. You're like, okay, this is good. Let's make an offer. While my buyer went home or your buyer went home and started thinking about it, the other buyer's writing an offer, and then it's in front of the seller, and the seller takes it, and then you're done. Or it goes into multiple offers, and then you have to make a ridiculously overpriced offer.
Correct.
Yeah, then you try to position out the other people.
And really, too, is like I tell my buyers right up front, my job is to, on average, my buyers will write an offer between 6 and 10 houses shown.
Sure.
So you put that in frame of your mind. We're not going to go and show you 100 homes because you're just going to get mentally and physically exhausted. And then if you look at after 20 homes, you have no idea what you're looking for anymore. It gets confusing. So our job is to, again, not show you every home in the market, but is to show you the homes that meet your must-haves, pull some of your wants. We'll show you 6 houses that you could potentially love every one of them. And that's our job. Not to show houses, but to find you a home.
Yeah, and to clarify too, we don't want you to rush, like you walk into us, okay, we got to make an offer.
Yes,
you want to be, the point is to be educated and know what you want up front, so when you walk into that house, you're able to make those decisions versus walking in not really knowing what you want and then hastily put together an offer or go think about it and then you lose it. So yeah, do your thinking, but at the same time understand that there's the buyer that's coming in right behind you who did their thinking on the front end.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the must-haves, can involve at some point because maybe you think it's Bloomington's a city to be, but all of a sudden the more you're out and about, you're like, maybe it isn't Bloomington, maybe it's Edina or whatever. Then you can change those must-haves.
Yep.
They can be somewhat liquid, but you really have to narrow down to 5 must-haves to really figure out what you're looking for in a house. And if you have no idea what you're looking for in a house, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, it's the same thing. Like, hey, Ron, do you want to buy a car? Sure. What do you want? Something with wheels and an engine.
That goes,
Like, wow, that anything from a 1914 Model A to a Tesla today. I mean, you have to think about what you're looking for and what you want out of a vehicle.
And I think too, as important sometimes as what you want is as what you don't want, right? So if there's some things you absolutely do not want, let's not go look at that house, right? If you don't want a busy road or you don't want to be by a school or whatever it is, right? You don't want a split level or whatever. Let's not look at those houses, right? Because those are things you're not going to be able to change for the most part, right?
Right.
You can update bathrooms, you can do other stuff, but there's other things that you can't do anything about. So let's not waste your time going and look at those.
Yeah, and if you're kind of on the fence, like, well, maybe we may like it, we'll go look at a couple. But really, if you don't want stairs, then we're not going to show you houses with stairs.
Exactly.
I mean, it's just that simple.
Yeah. So it makes the whole process a little easier. And then, like you said, you start getting this confusion because then you've got 20 houses jumping around in your head, and it kind of all gets
even when you're going even in one day. I recommend don't look at more than 7 houses in a day.
Yeah.
Even that's a lot. It's by the 5th or 6th house. If you're not taking notes, the buyers aren't taking notes. All of a sudden they forget what was the first house, what was the second house again, and they all start to kind of blend together. So.
Exactly.
Let's not do a shotgun approach. Let's do a rifle approach. Let's send you the houses that fit your must-haves, and let's go look at those because. Why waste your time?
Yep. And then that's also a lot of things we take on as well. And all buyers do it. We set up an MLS search, or we set up a search for our website that's going to shoot you everything you want. And then buyers are going to look at other sites too, right? And that's fine. Just a lot of times those are going to be old or bad information. But then also we have access to like things on the show, pre-lists, right? So if you talk about a pre-list, then I've got a buyer for it or vice versa. So somebody we network with, whether it's in our office or on Facebook or just chatting with another real estate agent, or you run into somebody. So we're able to find some things that aren't going to be on any of those other sites. And again, that's just a service that we provide, or you network with other people. You've got a listing coming on that's not quite on the market, and you've got a buyer as well. You can say, you match those two up. So all a part of the home search process that we help.
Oh, yeah. And that was a great point, because a lot of times we do have buyers. And sometimes, too, is if we have a buyer that's very specific to a certain neighborhood or whatever, I've door knocked and asked neighbors, like, hey, are you thinking of selling, or is there one of your neighbors thinking of selling? And I don't do it just because I'm bored. I do it because my buyers really want to get in that neighborhood. And, I'll even bring their pre-approval letter and say, yeah, we have real deal buyers. And if, do you even know anybody in the neighborhood that's thinking of selling? And sometimes that'll kick up some dirt, and, you get a deal done that way too.
Yeah, so that's one of the 7 steps of home buying. We'll continue to do this throughout the show. So there's first step was talking to a lender, because getting your financing figured out is the most important thing, because you can't buy a house without some sort of financing. And then hire a real estate agent, and then the next thing is let's go out there and start figuring out what you want, and then look at some houses. So you can check out those on our YouTube channel, which is ImperialHomeTeam.tv. You can get linked to that through the website for our podcast at TwinCitiesRealEstatePros.com. So we appreciate you joining us again for TwinCitiesRealEstatePros.com. We are here on a weekly basis. You can find us all sorts of places. We like to go live on Facebook. We're on YouTube as well. Also SoundCloud, and all those places you can get linked to on our website, ImperialHomeTeam.tv. Once again, that's David Nelson. He is a licensed real estate agent, licensed to do business in the state of Minnesota with RE/MAX Advantage Plus. My name's Ron Johnson, licensed real estate agent with RE/MAX Advantage Plus. We appreciate you joining us for the Twin Cities Real Estate Pros podcast. We'd also love you to be a guest on our show, whether you have a local business anywhere really throughout the Twin Cities, or your business somehow aligns with home ownership, home buying, home selling, home maintenance, or whatever.
Unique service that you think that might be really good for people moving into the city or moving out of the city, but you don't know how to market it. This is a great vehicle to do that. So let us know.
Yeah, you can come on the show, sit with us. We don't charge you to do that. So free advertising and free marketing through all of our channels. So that's one way. So come on and join us as a guest on our program. So thanks for joining us for the Twin Cities Real Estate Pros podcast. We'll catch you next time.